people have been wanting us to talk about this because you guys are former Vikings. I host Purple Daily, a Vikings podcast. And so we've had for like 4 or 5 weeks, people want to know, what do you think they should do with Kirk Cousins? So let me set it up this way. I think nationally...
You just really want people to be upset with you, don't you?
You sure do.
People
You're looking for trouble, Mackey.
If you follow Mackey on Twitter, you know that there's a lot of Kirk Crusaders out there that are willing to burn Mackey at the stake.
Well, listen, here's the thing. Here's where I come from. I
want to hear why Mackey is the way he is. Go ahead.
For you, dude.
Tell me more, Mac.
I have football standards, okay? The Minnesota Vikings' first season in franchise history was 1961. This team has won, I think it's 27 division titles over those 6.5 decades. They've been to 4 Super Bowls in the 70s, lost them. They've been to NFC championship games once every 8 years. They've had some of the greatest players you'll find in NFL history, wide receivers, purple people eaters. Mm-hmm. They've had legends pass through, like the Brett Favres, Randall Cunningham in 1998, right? They've done everything there is to do as a franchise except win the Super Bowl. And they haven't even been to a Super Bowl in 40 years. And we had to literally 4 years ago on Purple Daily, I feel like Judd and I had to explain this because like, you guys they won a playoff game last year. You guys are being so negative. Okay, why are we being negative? Because everything, at least from my perspective, everything that this franchise does should be run through the can we win a Super Bowl doing it this way filter. It's the only thing you haven't done. If you're the Jaguars or you're the Lions, all right, your next step is to just be relevant, right, as a franchise. The Vikings have been relevant for 6 decades. And so why am I the way that I am? Why do I not want another $40 million in Kirk Cousins' bank account? Because he's made almost $200 million with the Vikings. 6 years, they've won 1 playoff game. 1 playoff game.
Yeah.
Literally, like, the dude's made $250 million playing football in his football life. And he has 1 playoff win in 9 years as a starter. Dude, TJ Yates and Tim Tebow have a playoff win in their careers.
Yeah.
Like Trent Dilfer has 5 playoff wins. Patrick Mahomes has like 15, and he's not even 30 years old yet. So, and I get that it's a team game. It's not on the quarterback, but, football's a team game. Then why would I want to pay a non-elite, non-franchise carrying quarterback 15 to 20% of my salary cap year after year after year, and then bitch about the things that are wrong around it and keep going through that cycle? And so it's not hate. Kirk is one of the top 10 to 12 quarterbacks in the world, but can you win a Super Bowl paying the 10th or 11th best quarterback $35, $40, $45 million, 15% of your team's salary cap? Well, it's a team game. Then build your team and stop building it all around one guy. I mean, listen, Patrick Mahomes, cool. We can trade Tyreek Hill. You still win back-to-back Super Bowls because you're that dude, right?
Right.
And there's some other quarterbacks. I think Josh Allen is kind of close to that line too. Where, okay, we can Josh Allen can just make up for the deficiencies. Kirk can't make up for the deficiencies. So, all right, that's my spiel. The Vikings have a huge decision to make here in the next 2 weeks, basically. Probably the next 3 weeks, because on March 13th, before free agency opens, if he doesn't re-sign with the Vikings, they get stuck with a $28.5 million dead cap hit for 2024, even if he's not on the team. But he wants to test the market and see what the Falcons are saying and see what the Raiders are saying and the Steelers, right? So if you're the Vikings, it's very comfortable to have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards, even probably post-surgery. He's going to light it up with Justin Jefferson. But you're going to win 9 games and probably get beat in the first or second round of the playoffs, right? Unless something happens that's never happened in his career before. So what would you guys, am I wrong? What would you guys look to do? Call me an idiot if you want to, but what would you do if you're the Vikings with Kirk Cousins?
If I'm the Vikings, I'm number one, I'm paying attention to what Justin Jefferson's saying. And I'm really sitting him down and I'm asking him seriously, hey, listen, are you really tying yourself to Kirk? If we go off and get a young quarterback, someone that can just throw the deep ball, that can affect the defense in other ways, can run around, can create plays, can be explosive, are you really not going to want to be here? And if he's like, yeah, hey, I don't want to do anything without Kirk, I'm like, dude, we need to talk, because you are one of the greatest receivers in the league right now, and we need you to be on board. At the same time, we need to get younger at this position. I hate to tell everybody, but unless your name was Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, they're the only ones really been winning the Super Bowls the last 15, 20 years. Okay, so it's those are the 2 best fucking quarterbacks to walk through the league in the last 40 years, besides Peyton Manning. So honestly, the number one and the number 2 quarterback are the only ones worth really getting paid because they're the ones that can go out there and do it by themselves. Patrick Mahomes just showed you. They traded Tyreek Hill away. We were all like, oh, they're fucked. Who's going to be the long ball? Who's going to force this team to get the ball to Kelsey? Like, that was so easy. Everyone just followed Tyreek, and then there was Kelsey over the middle. Like, just throw it to me. Check it down to me, dude.
By the way, have you seen the stat that came out? I saw some statistics, you guys. I was looking on some football sites, and
he saw PFF again. Oh god.
Patrick Mahomes' average length of touchdown pass before the Tyreek Hill trade was like 19 yards per touchdown. It's like 3.5 yards per touchdown now. He's just found different ways to get the ball down the field and into the end zone, right?
And he's an incredible player, and he makes what, $45 million a year. So at the point, like at some point, somebody has to be like, listen, we're going to continue paying quarterbacks as much as this guy, and they're not going to give us the production this guy is. And you're right, Mackey. We're hampering the rest of our team, whether it's finding less players on offense or whether it's finding less people on defense to help our offense. This is a problem when you're paying one guy way too much money, and then all of a sudden everybody else is like, yeah, I don't want to go there. I'm not going to take less. Like, honestly, the only person that I could see taking less right now would be Chris Jones because he came out and said it. I'd rather win fucking Super Bowls at this point. I've made $100 million. I'm going to make another $100 million, and I'm going to walk away with 8 Super Bowls. Like,
see, if you're Kirk, you've literally, I'm not, this is not hyperbole. He's made $250 million.
No, I know. Football. It's like $250 million.
Wouldn't you, if you survey the landscape here, which you can do now, you don't need to wait till free agency to survey the landscape. You'll have conversations at the combine, whatever. Like, wouldn't you look around? And again, it's easy for me to say as a guy that has never made $250 million and can go make another 40. But wouldn't you look around and think about your football legacy at some point? Man, I'm 36. I just had a career scare. I just tore my Achilles. Who knows how much longer I have? If Minnesota is the best spot to build and win, what's the difference between $28 million and $45 million at this point in your life? I know that the NFLPA and here comes the agent guy raising his microphone. I know what he's going to say, but like, if you want to win a Super Bowl, take a little Tom Brady, take a little Drew Brees.
Tom was the number one. Tom never taking a lot of money.
Drew Brees did not test the market 6 years ago at the same age. He signed back with the Saints.
Listen, I don't disagree with you, but there's a quote from Kirk that has always stuck a hole in my brain, which is, it's not about the dollars, it's what the dollars represent.
Which means it's about the dollars.
And for Kirk, and when you hear like that means Kirk, in my opinion, has always felt and again, I don't know Kirk, and I'm going to speak out of my ass here, but listening to what Kirk talks and like how he speaks in the media, I feel like Kirk always comes from a place like he feels disrespected in this league. And when you feel somewhat disrespected, rightfully so or not, because of, like you said, all the things you just said, Mackey, like everyone says it because it's all true. You feel the way that you earn your respect is by, hey, I'm paid top-tier quarterback money, right? Like, because I am a top-tier quarterback. If you take away Kirk Cousins' top-tier quarterback salary, do people stop viewing him as a top-tier quarterback? Probably. Yeah. Right? And that was part of my problem when the Vikings signed Kirk Cousins, is they paid him top-tier quarterback money, and everyone just now assumed he was top-tier quarterback. You're right. Kirk Cousins is a top 10 to 12 quarterback in this league. But when you're paid like the top 5 or the top 3, then you're looked at to perform like one of the top 1 to 3 quarterbacks. And that's not fair to Kirk because he's never been that guy. Like, he's never been the dude that can just walk out there and be like, minute 53 left in the Super Bowl, this game's over. Right? Like, he's never been that dude. And that was my argument all along when they signed with him. So I think it's time for the Vikings to eat the dead cap, understand that what Kirk gave you was fun. It was a magical ride, but it's time to move on in a different direction of this football team. I will say this. I worry that this fractures front office leadership between GM and head coach.
And maybe ownership, dude.
And maybe ownership, depending which camp they jump in. Because I think it's no secret Kevin O'Connell does not want Kirk Cousins to walk out of this building. right? I don't think it's any secret that Kirk is his dude. He wants a dude that can sit in there, operate his offense. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Kevin O'Connell's going to scheme everyone open because every great passing coach thinks that it doesn't matter if I just need a guy that can deliver it because I'm so brilliant and smart, I can scheme everybody open. So Kirk can do that for me. And I think Kwesi, being the analytic guy, being the smart guy, looking at how to build a football team in 2024, is going to look at that and go, he's not good enough. He's not good enough for the vision in which I have of how to build this football team. And I think that's going to cause a fracture in the leadership. And if that happens, we've seen this movie before in Minnesota. We've seen what happens when a head coach and a GM don't speak to each other.
Yeah, that was weird.
And it could get out of control real quick. But I'm on the camp of thank you for everything, Kirk. This is not a disrespect thing that we're saying, oh, we hate you here. It's just time to move on, which everyone happens and comes to it at Interpass. And like Booney said, we may be sitting there going, grass isn't always greener. But if you want to make it to the Super Bowl and filter it through the lens, like you said, Mac, it starts with a rookie contract and building a team around a rookie quarterback contract.